Yo, what is up? Today we are riding with Simple the Zoltra Voltra, and he's in the Object 260 on Erlenberg, and he spawned on the north. This is an attack defense, of course, and the Object 260, in case you don't know, this is one of the reward tanks that you can get out of personal missions. This is the first season of personal missions. This is after the T55A reward tank. Now anybody can get this tank, and if you are considering getting this tank after this video, I'm sure you are going to be completely convinced that you should get this tank. Why? This tank is one of the most competitive tanks in tier 10 heavy tanks. It is one of the top tanks, very strong tank. In fact, it is one of the top choices selections if you play competitive modes like clan wars, advances, and tournaments. One of the reasons why it is very popular with competitive players is because it is comparatively similar to the Object 277. One of the advantages the Object 260 has over the 277 is the standard ammunition, which is APCR, that does 260 penetration and 440 damage. Now what's special about APCR, you ask? Well, obviously it's going to be the shell velocity, 1259 meters per second. This means you can shoot this gun at distances and reliably connect. That is why a lot of times when you play on the West Field map during clan wars or advances, callers often request for the Object 260 to be one of those tanks to be sniping from a distance, doing the crossfire, shooting the fast medium tanks and fast light tanks that are trying to cross in the open. That is why the Object 260 is very competitive and very popular. Now this is a position on Erlenberg map that is very popular with all the good players. All the good players know how to play this position well, and they tend to come here a lot because you can get a lot of action out in this position. Of course, you will always you also will get shot at a lot, as Simple here will demonstrate. He's already bounced 2480 damage just from the crossfire that this position attracts. He's got shots in the middle and he's going to take them, and he's going to use his heat shells to do it, just to make sure he connects his shot. This distance isn't too far, so he's using those heat shells to reliably pen, although sometimes you can use heat shells and get absorbed when you shoot the enemy's tracks, because the tracks absorb heat shells, and that is one of the disadvantages of firing those heat shells. Make sure you have a nice flat surface to shoot at, and you will reliably pen all the time. Now we are exactly a couple of minutes into the game, and he's already done 3261 damage and blocked over 2800. Now if you notice, this game went on without much fanfare, without me commenting a lot too much about how our friend is playing this map. Why? Because one of the similarities that all these huge damage games produce by the good players, they are normally very boring, very simple, very straightforward. There is not too much fanfare, there is not too much drama. It's just straightforward, taking good positions, and they make the game look so simple that it is almost looks boring looking at this gameplay. He is not risking anything. Everything he's doing is calculated, and because of that, he is in very little jeopardy. He is almost never in a position where he is taking too much risk. Now the game is now 4-2. We've killed 4 tanks and we've lost 2 tanks, and he has taken upon himself to push forward. Why is he pushing forward? Well, one of the traits of good players, experienced players, is they know exactly when to reposition, when to move, when to push forward, and this is exactly what he is doing. If you take a look at the minimap, you can see his team advancing down the middle of the map, as they move forward, he moves forward as well, because he knows that at the very least his left flank is covered by those tanks on his team. The E75, the 274A, the 257, the T95, they're all on his left. So if he pushes forward, he is not going to be actually taking any kind of risk at all. The teams are being overrun right now. It is 7-2, and at precisely this time he is pushing forward again. This is one of the traits of good experienced players. Everything is planned and calculated. He did not push forward on a whim. He did not risk it for the biscuit. He knew exactly when to push forward. He knew how much risk he would be taking on, and he calculated that the benefits would overcome the cost. So he took a couple of shots of damage, one from the VK, 2 shots from the Skoda T50, and that was totally worth it for him, because right now he is already up to 9,700 damage and blocked over 4,000 damage. Now, the first thing I mentioned when we started this video, I told you about how the common denominator is all the games of all these good players that do 10,000 damage. They go on without much drama, they go on without much fanfare. If you look at accidental 10,000 damage games, you can see there's a lot of drama, there's a lot of risk, there's a lot of things going on. But when you see them played by really good players, you will notice that it's quite a normal game, it's quite a boring game. There's not much drama going on, very straightforward. But he does use some rules for him to make these kind of games happen for him more often than not. Number one, he takes the right positions. He knows the position to take to farm the most damage. Number two, he pushes forward together with the team. He knows where the location of his teammates are and when it is safer for him to push forward without taking too much risk. So if you follow some of these rules, you could as well make your big damage games happen for you more often. Now, one of the traits of good players that are doing high damage is, take a look at the score. He's done 10,000 damage, but take a look at the second score. The second score is the damage that he blocked. 4,000 damage he has blocked so far. And why has he blocked 4,000 damage? He did not do this out of luck. He knows that he is in a well armored tank. The 260, Object 260 is a very well armored tank, and he knew exactly how to use his armor. That means he knew exactly how to risk his position and use his armor to compensate for that risk, meaning he pushed forward knowing exactly that he can take a little bit of damage, he can take some hits, but he also knows that he is in a nice heavy tank that can bounce some damage, and he is going to use his armor to place himself in a position where he can block some damage. So not only does he do 11,600 damage in this game, he also blocks 5,350 damage in this tank. What an amazing game it was for simple Zontra Volta. There you have it, steel wall, high caliber, Confederate. Let's take a look at his score. 11,683 damage and 5,350 block damage. So he used his armor like trading, he traded his health to get some damage. So he traded some of his HP so that he can bounce some shells and do more damage. So those are one of the traits that you could employ or learn in your game and how to get better. Thanks for watching. I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.